The very first Xenoblade has one of the coolest settings in media history. Climbing the backs of two giant titans calls for some insane landscapes that make the game into what it is. The fantastical worlds of the series are such an important part of its identity. It's what gives the games that Xenoblade feel that we all love so much. Anyone who's played the games can tell you how great the worlds are, but what goes very unnoticed is how good the level design is in terms of gameplay. Most of the time, anyways. In particular, I wanted to talk about how enemies are placed throughout the map, and how it makes the world feel much more alive and fun to explore. To explain what I mean, I actually want to talk about Metroid, and a certain design philosophy that those games use. Metroidvania-style games are full of these obstacles that prevent you from progressing past a certain point on the map. That is until you find the right ability somewhere else on the map. They put these obstacles right in front of your face, plain to see, even though they know you have no means to get by. This immediately gets the player excited to find whatever upgrade is needed to get past said obstacle. And once you finally manage that, it's a great feeling, as somewhere in the back of your head, you've been waiting to see what could possibly be in the next area. This creates an insanely fun and addictive game loop that's pretty central to the game's design. The reason I bring this up is to highlight the fact that by showing the player something they're not fit to deal with, they're naturally intrigued by it and want to keep playing, to find a way to overcome it. It builds up the excitement for when you finally get there. Xenoblade has these kind of design elements everywhere. The obvious example of this is Xenoblade 3's field skills. While exploring the world, you'll see vines you can't climb, or weird rails that lead to different areas. And it isn't until you complete certain hero quests that you unlock the ability to traverse these obstacles, which is very Metroidvania. Xenoblade 2 tried to do this first, but come on. This idea is also present with the game's main objectives. In every game in the series, you can almost always see your main objective looming over you. Like in Xenoblade 1, you can see the top of the Bionis and part of the Mechonis from where you are. In 2, you can see the World Tree, and in 3, you can see Sword March from almost everywhere. This way, you're constantly watching your main goal in the game and anticipating what could happen when you get there. These examples do fall under that main idea, but as I mentioned earlier, Xenoblade games have a different way of implementing this design philosophy through their enemy placement. If you've played the games, you might know where this is going. All of the games have certain areas with very high-level enemies. That seems pretty normal for a JRPG, but the thing is, you can reach these areas even when your party is nowhere close to strong enough to take them on, and pretty easily as well. Just as an example, Xenoblade 3 has this in the very first area in the game. But this type of thing is everywhere in the series. This level design choice is especially notable with the game's unique monsters, which are mini-boss type enemies that are there to give the player a challenge while exploring the world. The games are also littered with over-leveled unique monsters, the most infamous of which being Territorial Rotbart, the level 81 giant monkey that's in every game's starting area. Sort of. He kind of defines these locations. I can't think of an area like Gar Plains without picturing him there. He's hard to miss, and I think that's very intentional. It's not just Rotbart, however. Over-leveled unique monsters are everywhere in these games. And although they're easy to spot, some of them are probably impossible to kill when you first see them. So why even put them there? Why not put them in a higher level area so that the player can fight them when they're ready instead of making them worry about getting one shot across the map? Like I mentioned earlier, there's something innately interesting about seeing something that you can't currently deal with, all the while knowing eventually you'll be able to. It's a level of depth added to the game that makes these bosses really cool, and they give the world a lot more character and make each area much more memorable. Admittedly, maybe not as rewarding as a Metroidvania game, the concept is the exact same. It once again puts these areas and puts these monsters right in front of you just to tease you. The game is telling you, hey, at some point you'll be able to come back and tackle this. And when you're finally strong enough to come back and beat that unique monster or explore that over-leveled area, it is extremely satisfying. It's a great feeling to overcome something when you used to be unfit to deal with it, especially when you've known it's been there for a while. Okay, I may have rambled more than I wanted to, but I think you get the point. Anyways, I just wanted to talk about how cool Xenoblade's worlds are, even in terms of gameplay and level design. Thanks for watching.